Commonwealth Games gold medalist Jay Sweet was rushed to hospital with a knife lodged in his hand hours before his friend's home was destroyed in a firebomb attack.
This is the start of a war, I'm telling you.
The attack coming just a few hours after her friend was stabbed at a nearby property.
This is the start of a war, I'm telling you.
Seen here with a knife lodged in his hand is former champion cyclist Jay Sweet, a Commonwealth Games gold medalist who's raced in the Tour de France.
En plein Paris. Qu'est-ce qu'elle fait ici?
The Seine has long defined Paris, which is why it's set to play a starring role in this summer's Paris Olympics. The banks were supposed to host the opening ceremony of the Games. The French president promised it himself. But with just 100 days to go, it looks like the plan may not work. Why? Because it could be a security nightmare for Paris.
Qu'est-ce qu'il viendrait faire à Paris?
Le départ du triathlon est dans moins de 24 heures. Si nous ne faisons rien, votre opération de com pourrait se transformer en un véritable bain de sang.
This is the palindromic epicentral year for 1972 as well. You would do well to look at 1998 and look at 1972 concerning the history of this building when you're analyzing events for 2024, because you understand the importance of 1998 in the palindromes. Okay, well, it's I have many presentations that explain that it's an equal amount of time. Just to simplify it right now, history unfolds in palindromes, and in the sequencing, 2024 is equal to 1972. So look at the events of 1972 and the epicentral year of 1998. And if you find anything unusual about those years right there that happened with that building, you can probably expect something very similar concerning whatever you find in 2024.
September 5th, 1972. 8 men in tracksuits hopped the fence at Munich's Olympic Village, carrying with them Kalashnikov rifles and grenades in duffel bags. An affiliate of the Palestine Liberation Organization. Their mission was to hold Israeli athletes hostage and demand the release of 236 prisoners, 234 in Israel, and the 2 leaders of the West Group Bader Meinhof terrorist group.
Hosting the Games is a security nightmare, and France already has a history of terror attacks. Paris says it's prepared for anything and everything, but security services do not seem so confident.
This here they're showing 2 attacks. They're showing a bombing, Molotov cocktails, and a retaliation. The retaliation was the stabbing. So I believe the bombing or something could be something to do with Israel, and then the retaliation is the stabbings by the so-called sleeper cells. And I also noticed that they pointed out the year 1998 here. The guy that's cycling, who won in Kuala Lumpur, the most anti-Israel country there is Malaysia, and he won in 1998. Now, Jason's pointed out that 1998 is, I think it's a midway point, that 1972 is the isometric year with 2024. You have the Munich attack at the Olympics, and then you have 2024. And in the middle, he said, look out for 1998. And then they're pointing out this guy won a gold medal at the Commonwealth Games in 1998. Fuck, you can't make it up.
France is no stranger to terror attacks. There was the Charlie Hebdo shooting, the Bataclan massacre, the deadly Bastille Day attack. So the threat looms large. And since the ISIS attack in Moscow, France is even more worried. It has raised the National Security Alert System to its maximum level. There's a dedicated Olympic intelligence service to collect all information on terror threats. An event this big needs mammoth security apparatus. Anti-drone detection technology, crowd control measures. France was warned about all of this. But reports say Paris chose to ignore them, and now is paying the price.
We'll be on Paris within weeks as the Olympics get underway, and the unprecedented, look, they've used this word, opening ceremony involving a flotilla of barrages carrying athletes down the iconic, I didn't even know that the athletes are going to be taken down the river. And what happened at the Munich Olympics in 72? This was when this was the attack on the Israelis, right? And we know about the mirroring effect and how they play on these time cycles and sometimes reverse them.
France already has a history of terror attacks. Paris says it's prepared for anything and everything, but security services do not seem so confident.
France was supposed to host the opening ceremony of the Games. The French president promised it himself.
Well, look at the movie that just came out, Under Paris. It's called Under Paris, and then they're doing the floating of the flotillas. Wow, of the flotilla. Unprecedented. But the spirit of positivity and unity underpins the Games is now under threat after France's Emmanuel Macron called for a surprise snap election to be held just weeks before. There are now concerns that everything from national security to transport infrastructure, with the outcome of a parliamentary vote looking shaky and unlikely, to result in a clear majority. That raises the risk, listen to this that raises the risk of civil unrest at a time when Paris is hoping its 2.1 million residents come together to welcome the world to its city. Oh, it's all there, isn't it? It's all there. But you look, and if I'm right, you will see, like the Olympics start soon, you will start seeing more stabbings and hints of the sports theme, right? It doesn't have to be directly within the story. This one was the most obvious. But you watch and sit and see the build up to these stabbings and what I think that and again, I don't need to talk about it, I've brought it up that many times, but Ole Demigard's work that he did in 2019 uncovering what was planned to be a multi-state, multi-city coordinated terrorist attack that will be blamed on Iran and will be blamed on sleeper cells being brought into the West, right?
You can almost predict within a percentile, I would say 100% certain, that you're going to have a major terrorist attack in our country because of what they're letting into our country on the southern border.